These are tunes. Well, I'll do the first one of a sacred waters. It's called Logan Waters. It's a sacred river in Scotland.
Namaste, Ji. Welcome. Welcome to our Guru Purnima. Nadananda Ji and I are very happy to welcome you today. And I'm going to let her speak in just a moment. This is a day that we dedicate once a year, the full moon, for us a few days after the full moon, to honor the mystical teachings and all of our spiritual teachers. In each generation, there are people who continue the teachers, and they are called wisdom keepers. And you will be hearing from a number of these souls today. Each is unique, has something different to offer, and we hope that as you listen, you feel a transmission from them, you feel some beauty from them. We will make the recording available through Warren's blessings, even though he didn't know he was going to bless us that way. And we'll also make the contact information available for any of the teachers, should you wish to reach anyone. Nadananda Ji, please would you add your welcome?
Oh, I just will, yes, welcome and thank everybody who's participating in this today. And I truly honor the sense that what we're doing is continuing to share teachings offered to us in ways that we have found particularly meaningful. So it's lovely to be here.
So we're going to begin with Swami Pharananda, who will be teaching us on the cow, the cat, and the cobra. If I can find her, she will be. I know she's here. There you go. Pranananda Ji, namaste. The cow, the cat, and the cobra, the essence of guru and disciple. That's quite a teaching. Thank you. Namaste Ji.
Namaste. Once upon a yogi time, there was a farmer. And this farmer was a very happy farmer, was very loving to his animals, harvested a lot of crops, and he had a cow, which he would milk every day. He had a cat, which would come and sit on his lap and which he would stroke. And he had a cobra, which he would give the milk to from the cow. And also the cat got some. Well, this went on for many years. And the cow started thinking about things, if cows can think about things, and said, boy, I'm always giving this milk. I'd really like to sit on the farmer's lap. And I'd like to be there. The farmer pets me, but I can't sit on his lap. So one day, here's the cow, farmer's milking the cow, the cat is on his lap and jumps off and he feeds the cobra, and all of a sudden the cow decides, here I come. And where is he but on the farmer's lap? Well, farmer went to hospital. Cow, we're not sure what happened with the cow. But the idea of this is there's a lot of different renditions of this story. You'll see the one with the cobra, and this is the one I remember from Kriyananda, and I always loved the three beings that were with this farmer. And really, in essence, what it's saying is with a guru, it is the essence of each disciple. He teaches according to the disciple's needs. Obviously, a cow is not the same as a cobra, neither it is as a cat, and we're all individuals. And I always found this as miraculous that our beloved guru could always teach us all individually. And I always thought it was like, and all of you that are gurus and teachers, you know this also. Your disciples aren't like you, and they're all different. So it's sort of like juggling a lot of apples and oranges and pears and the whole bit in there, and also giving the teachings to them. I always found this was really, boy, what a task, because of, I think one of the stories, if I may, it's a Sumithrananda, our beloved Helene story. Helene and Kriyanandas, all of us had our individual relationships. And so Sumithrananda would bring in, she did a lot of the festivals, if you remember. She was always creating a lot of things, giving gifts, having bags, having, as Kriyananda called them, koofers, and she was always weighted down coming into the temple. And one day I remember in discipleship, Kriyananda said, Helene, he says, I'm giving you a task. I'm not sure, I'm not saying this is verbatim, but basically, I do not want you to bring all these bags with you. Okay, now it's sort of hard because Helene was doing a lot of things, but following her guru's, instruction, she brought a lot less bags and things. And she did say, I think I do remember her saying, I do feel it's weighted me. It was much lighter. So the guru knew, and number one, what Sumithrananda had needed at that point. Number two, it was a teaching lesson for all of us with our baggage, our koofers, our pitliks, our bags, our everything. It's the baggage that we carry with us. And Kriyananda would teach in that way and say, if you were a strong individual, a lot of times he'd pick you out in discipleship and say, okay, here we go. I can remember quite a few of the disciples the rest of us would sit there and go, oh my goodness, don't pick on me. Oh no. But he wouldn't have done that with the rest of us. He did it for those that had needed it in his way he taught. And it's for all of us with our students, as we know. And Kriyananda had written that when the disciple is ready, the guru will appear. The guru is drawn to you by your sincerity. Seek diligently and wisely for that person who will guide you on the path to finding happiness, joy, wisdom, and the ecstasy of life, even the very bliss of God. The guru does not choose the disciple. The disciple chooses the guru. Seek that soul who has attained that which you are seeking. You cannot see yourself in a mirror without a mirror. The guru is the mirror which will assist you in the search along the path. Once found, the guru is sustained by the disciple's mind and heart. Yet it is the love you have for the teaching, not the teacher, that frees you. The relationship is one important adjunct to achieving the goal. Although each of us must seek our own enlightenment and illumination, the guru will assist you entering the path of enlightenment safely, surely, and most harmoniously. Thank you all for being here and for celebrating our lineage, our teachers, our beloved Kriyananda. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji. And now Swami Ishananda.
Namaste.
Namaste, Ji, Swamiji.
So on this day of Guru Purnima, I wanted to remember some of the founders of the yoga philosophy, and keeping that in mind. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And Patanjali is often referred to as the father of yoga, even though very little is known about Patanjali. The yoga philosophy goes back thousands of years, but it wasn't until around the 3rd century BC that a soul by the name of Patanjali started the process of putting the philosophy down and putting it into some kind of order. And Patanjali might have been a Hindu grammarian. Some believe he was. Others believe he was a sage and author from back in those times. Others refer to Patanjali as the name of a serpent king, which has interesting symbolism for those of us who are Kriya yogis. And others still say that he probably had contributions and help from his own students or disciples. But whoever Patanjali was, the contribution to our philosophy is immense, I think. And what did they do? What did he do? He took some of this ancient philosophy and started to put it together in aphorisms, statements of truth, principles that are called sutras, which means threads. So these were all threaded together. And they were sorted out into 4 categories called books or padas. Pada means foot. And each book covers different topics. So the first book is samadhi, contemplation. And even in that section, the writings define yoga as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind stuff. And so the whole philosophy is about disciplining not only the body, but also the mind to find that stillness. The second book goes into how to do that, the disciplines, the practices, and I'm going to come back to that. The third book covers the byproducts of these practices, the siddhis, the yoga siddhis, the powers that can be developed through these practices. And the fourth book is about self-realization, liberation, moksha, kaivalya. So coming back to the second book, the practices, that's where most of our philosophy, our 8 limbs of yoga comes from. Raja Yoga, the royal path. And these are the yamas, the restraints, the things that we ought not to do, the non-stealing, non-lying, or they're formatted as nons. Kriyananda said the 5 little nons. So non-stealing, non-lying, non-violence, non-greed, non-sensuality. And Kriyananda always said that non-violence was the most important. And he called it the jewel, one of the 3 jewels in the crown of God. In the observances, the niyamas, also 5, purity, austerity, contentment, self-study, and attunement to God. And of these, Kriyananda emphasized contentment. And in most of his noon meditations, he never failed to say, just be happy wherever we are in life. Just be happy, which is a good one, I think. I love that one. The third one is the postures, the asanas, which is the door through which most people come to yoga, disciplining the body, and then they start to feel, oh, this feels really good. So they start to explore the philosophy. The fourth limb, pranayama, is often translated as breath control, but with the word prana, which is the life force, it is more about gathering this life force, holding on to this life force, and then being able to direct this life force to improve our own mind, body, discipline, or growth, and or to help those around us. So pranayama. And the fifth one, pratyahara, sense withdrawal, which is mastering the senses so that we control them instead of having our five senses control us. The final three limbs work together: the concentration, dharana, the meditation, dhyana, and samadhi, contemplation. It's a process. So we move from having all these thoughts, and so we concentrate into one thought in meditation. And the one line of thought, lines are made up of points. You try to find the space between the points that we can try to slip through and rise above the thoughts and to experience samadhi, contemplation. And it's the taste of that that will keep bringing us back to move even into Kaivalya. The good news about the teachings is that, according to the teachings and Kriyananda, we're all on a path and we're all going to get there. Isn't that great? We're all going to get there. Some faster than others. But there's also, because it's a philosophy, there are no cosmic police out giving citations for not moving fast enough or moving too fast or not doing something first before you do something else. You can practice any of these limbs at any time. And so I think that's the legacy of the debt that we owe to Patanjali and whoever contributed to the teachings, that we all can experience illumination, self-realization in this lifetime, that we can have contentment this lifetime, this day. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Janice. Swami Pushkaryananda, who is one of in our lineage. She is a Swami, but also a disciple of Swami Dasagiri. So we're very, very grateful to have you with us today, Swamiji. You're looking radiant. Namaste.
Thank you. I'm the one who's happy to be with you today in this special day. As you know, Guru Purnima is a day of grace, a day to remember the goodness for those wise souls who have walked the path before us. So if you can close your eyes, just let's take a mini moment to attune to that goodness, to bring it down to this plane so we can share it with all lives that will touch yours. Thank you. I would like to share with you a few teachings. You all have been my teachers, and also Swami Dasagiri, and of course, Kriyananda. I was very lucky to have met him 25 years ago. So, as you know, Guru is the dispeller of darkness, someone who enables disciples to remove ignorance and find the light within. If I ask you if you remember that special moment in this lifetime when you enter the path, I'm sure it's a remarkable moment for all of us. Otherwise, we couldn't be here today. Maybe it was a desire that evolved into a commitment to understand the nature of life, a desire big enough that brought you closer to a teacher, a guru, and opened doors for studies and reflection. Like the 7 rishis who waited for Shiva to stop dancing and bestow his teachings onto humanity, we need to be ready to receive the teachings with an open mind and heart, and be brave enough to ask the Guru to make us a disciple. To walk this path, we need a desire for learning, and not to be afraid for change. Doing so, we stop waiting for a savior and walk step by step this long road. It is important that the spiritual path becomes our life, so we keep a foot in the ground and the other one in the sky. If you are still searching, if you don't have a guru, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong. Find a teacher, something that inspires you, and continue studying, reflecting, and working on improving this human experience. And hopefully you'll find someone that will help you and give you the opportunity to make your own path. That's very important. Kriyananda ji always encouraged everyone to seek their own path in their own way, to love the teachings, not the teacher, to not only satisfy the desire for knowledge, but to have an established sadhana. That means a full commitment to a spiritual practice. So that's my first teaching I would like to share with you. Find a guru, an inspiration, and start working the path. In Kriyananda's lectures, there was also a recurring theme, and I think Swami Ishananda touched on that. It's better to learn through joy and become self-aware. In his particular humor, he also said, you can also try and learn through pain and sorrow. There might not be too much learning, but it's an option. And I would like to continue with Swami Ishananda's description of the Yoga Sutras. What Swami Ishananda did, she described what yoga is. And if you haven't gotten to review Kriyananda's commentary of the Yoga Sutras, I really recommend it you to do so. There are about 20 hours of recordings, binder this thick, with so much depth and knowledge and wisdom from him. I'm going to jump into chapter 3 because Swami Ishananda did a great job explaining to us chapter 1 and 2. And chapter 3 has this esoteric and interesting title. It's the supernormal powers. Nothing to do with Marvel realities and superpowers. Kriyananda makes a beautiful description that really the best superpower that we can have as humans in this human experience is the awareness, improving our awareness. And in that chapter 3, Sutra 35, Kriyananda explains that after all the do's and the don'ts still in the mind, all the essences come together to release a third one, and that is called balanced self-conscious awareness. This partakes of both essences, but it's not the same. And to attain balanced self-conscious awareness, and he describes this as the success of yoga. So this is the success of yoga. You need self-discipline, self-sacrifice, and renunciation. This is an important teaching because it guides us to work in quieting the mind and allowing the spirit to reach up higher and expand our awareness in a life of service. So the second teaching is learn through joy, be unselfish, establish a sadhana to attain balanced self-conscious awareness. So far, I have explained to you what the path requires, what does success in yoga mean. Let's talk briefly about what we have at our disposal. And Swami Ishananda also helped us with that. We have so many techniques in Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is a really sane system because if all the gurus in this lineage are like my guru, they said, here are all these techniques, go and try them, see what fits to you, and keep going. Bye. So we have concentration techniques, meditation techniques, hatha yoga, pranayama, And a very important one that I would like to refer to is astrology. Astrology gives the seeker a map to understand the challenges we were born with and how to overcome them, prepare them better to face all those challenges and to live a life which is insightful. In his book, Kriyananda's book, The Wisdom and Way of Astrology, he says, of all sciences, astrology is the most spiritual, for it insists that you can know the meaning, the nature, and even the purpose of life. So establish your sadhana, that could be the third teaching, in a way that works for you, and be consistent in doing so. Where is the path? Are we alone in the path? Is there are shortcuts to get to the goal? I'm so happy that Swami Ishananda said that there's no cosmic police or no police citations. That's very cool. Though there are a few contraindications that I will mention in a second. The answer to all those questions is you make the path. You make the path as you see it and as you want it to work for you. Becoming a spiritual seeker, a walker of the path, will guide you to understand the human experience in a profound way, to be compassionate and less overwhelmed by life's challenges. The spiritual path and your life are not different. They should merge in a way to fit your needs and responsibilities. As seekers, we need to acknowledge that we all are in different stages of evolution. My guru used to say it's more the evolution, but okay. Therefore, the need for compassion is vital. Kriyananda constantly reminded us that the human experience is like living in a garden. He called it the garden of life. But hear this, if it stinks and you don't like what you see, it's time to move to a better part of the garden. That relates to the concept of Aham Brahmasmi. You are the creative principle in your life. You make the path. And it's not a magic wand. It takes time. It takes clarity of purpose. But you can move your boat to the shore that is most beneficial to what you want to accomplish. Remember that. We need to remember that you and the ultimate reality are one and the same. Paramahansa Yogananda used to say, the wave is the same as the ocean, though it is not the whole ocean. So each wave of creation is part of the eternal ocean of spirit. The ocean can exist without the waves, but the waves cannot exist without the ocean. So the fourth teaching is, you are the creative principle in your life. Aham Brahmasmi. I invite you to continue walking your path, knowing that you have the power to find the shore that is right for you, to develop balance of conscious awareness in a service to life. As you seek it, seek your own enlightenment. The world seems to be a troubled place because the minds of men are not in peace. I invite you to become a source of light in your immediate space. In the gentle words of Kriyananda ji, walk your path from victory to greater victory, from joy to greater joy, from love to greater love. Start where you are and move gently. Namaste.
Swamiji,
Okay.
we have you highlighted.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
The message that I have today is actually very simple. It's just a message of gratitude. I'm grateful that everybody here has joined this afternoon, and it gives me an opportunity to speak and to say some things that are rattling around in my head. And I'm also grateful to Kriyananda and the Kriya Yoga lineage for all their support throughout the years. And I'd really like to stop at that point because it seems like I would dilute the message that I really want to get across, which again is the message of gratitude. But I'll say a couple words. And it's just a continuation of what's really been said by Swami Pushkaryananda, Ishananda, Pharananda. And it has to do with yoga. And up until about 200 years ago, yoga, Kriya Yoga, was about jnana yoga. Jnana means pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. It had to do with philosophy, teaching. It also had to do with techniques. And the techniques that they were doing were pretty extreme techniques. And they were for the priestly class, really. That's where it was aimed at. And the consciousness, which I'll call Babaji, whatever that is, at that time said, we need to have a little change here. And we need to move the ideas and the concepts of Kriya Yoga from the mountaintop down to the marketplace. And so a change was made, and the focus went away from monasticism and extreme austerity and that as a means of attaining God consciousness or cosmic consciousness, merging with this idea or concept of God. And it was in the sutras, and it shifted towards the Gita. And the message of the Gita was bhakti yoga, which is love and devotion. And so that dealt with the everyday man and householdership. And that's really what, in my mind, I'm grateful for to the lineage. They brought the teachings from the mountaintop to the marketplace that I happened to be in at the time. And I was the beneficiary of all their wisdom and knowledge and their acts of selfless service. And then that's really the message that I have for today. I'll add one more thing, and it has to do with something that Shelley said, and this whole idea of yoga and this merging with God and God consciousness. And he used to say, Shelley used to say, who is the beholder and who is being beheld, or something like that. I don't remember the quote, but it was to that effect, two people looking into each other's eyes. Are you the beholder looking at the other person, or is the other person beholding you? In which way? And there's a deep mysticism in that. I remember when I first heard it, I used to think, gosh, it sounds nice, but I have no idea what that really means. As time has gone on and I've gotten older now, I have a better idea of what it is. It just simply has to do with, on a mundane level, it's something that happens between a lover and another lover, between two people. But on a much higher level, on a spiritual level, it's you merging with divine consciousness. And so, again, I want to just conclude with a short meditation, and then just repeating that the message for me for today is one of gratitude. Gratitude to everyone here for allowing me to speak to you, and gratitude to Kriyananda and to the lineage. And with that, I just would conclude with a short meditation. When two lovers gaze into each other's eyes, the world falls away. Time pauses, thought dissolves, and for a moment, There is no I, and there is no you. There's only divine presence. When you gaze at the world without grasping, when you look into the eyes of another without projecting, when you sit in stillness and become the witness of your own mind, you begin to realize that you are both the beholder and the beheld, and in truth, that you are neither. In that space, love is not something that moves between two people. It is what remains when the illusion of separation fades. Let that gaze become your meditation. Let love lead you back to the origin of cosmic consciousness. Namaste.
I'm a little fixed. I have the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Taurus, and the ascendant in Scorpio. So it took me a long time to decide to choose Kriyananda as a guru. And so I saw him in the late 60s. That's how long ago. And he was funny, but I don't know. I didn't really know what a guru was. And it took me a little while because I'm kind of fixed and stubborn, to say the least. And finally I decided I wanted to be a disciple. And I asked Kriyananda once. I asked Kriyananda twice. I asked Kriyananda 25 times. He wanted to make sure that I really wanted him as my guru and that it was a good match. And it was. He's been my guru for 60 years, something like 60 years. But I got to tell you, some of the teaching, two of the many teachings that he gave me. One time in discipleship, we were waiting for him to come down, and people were sitting around and talking, and somebody said something kind of nasty about another disciple, and then another person added to it, and I stood up to my full 5'2" height. And I said, you shouldn't be saying things like that and really making a judgment of things. But of course, who was standing right in back of me is Kriyananda. And he said very quietly, because he could be very loud in his teaching, he said, that person did not know people were talking about it until you let her know. I hope I never did that again. I mean, it was a teaching that I will never forget. And the other teaching we had, I've had so many, it was hard to pick from, but we went to the ashram and we had an all-night mantra. I never thought I could make it through all night chanting mantra, but I did. And I mean, I can't tell you the glow that happened during the night and in the morning. And then we got in the car to go home and we're driving, and all across the sky was a double rainbow, totally filled the sky. And if that wasn't a message, I don't know of any. And I want to say I'm the schlepper that was spoken of earlier. I'm the one who brought many bags. I can't say I'm doing any better at that. I still carry bags. But I still hear Kriyananda telling me, don't schlep, don't carry a lot of bags. It's weight on your shoulders, not good. So I try to listen to Kriyananda still. He's in my head and in my heart. And that's it. Namaste, everyone.
Shanti. So when I thought about what I would like to share today, I came to the sense of sound and silence. and the importance and the techniques that we have that can help us use. Now, I thought back to some of the early techniques that I had learned when I first started this path, and I thought I would share a couple of those. We could do a little practice together. And one of them, which is so powerful in terms of sound, is a mantra called the E mantra. And the E mantra is simply sounding the sound of E. And we're going to do that together a little bit. You will be doing it on your own. I'll be doing it here. I'll turn my audio off when we want to rest in some silence so you don't hear the fan running. So the way that this is practiced is a way of listening deeply to sound and focusing very gently. It doesn't have to be a hard focus, but a gentle focus around the area of the sun center, around the eyes. This is a center of awareness. And the way the mantra is done is you simply intone the sound of E. And we do it rather strongly, not too forcefully, but using our full voice. You can find whatever pitch makes sense for you to do it on. And you do it until it feels like your breath is running out, and then you just stop it and sit with the silence. So we will sound this mantra 3 times. And just to begin with, just settle into your body. I think we've had a lot of lovely meditation today, so hopefully we're feeling pretty relaxed already. But settle into your space, settle into your body. Let yourself rest in the support that you have. Let yourself sense your whole body. Head and neck, face, shoulders, arms, torso. Sitting straight if you're sitting, but not with tension. All the way out through your arms and your fingers, down through your legs into your feet. And take a few breaths in this space. I'll give a demonstration of the E mantra, but do not feel when we do it together that you need to match my pitch or my length of time. Find your own way and listen to your own voice. I'll demonstrate it, and then what I will do is allow each of us to practice it on our own, so you won't hear my voice at that time. You make it with your voice, a solid E sound, and we'll rest in silence. So just to demonstrate it first. You can start with, if you like, with resurrection breath. It's a practice we do often to recenter our focus, turning head to the left, exhaling over the left, doubly. Bringing head back to center and inhaling. I'm going to turn my audio off and have each of you on your own do that 3 times, any pitch, focus, and rest after. Let's begin. It's a powerful mantra. I hope you felt that, of quieting the mind. And there was one other short practice I'd like to share. And this is a deeper practice of silence. It's known as one of the practices of sense withdrawal, pratyahara, called the Yoni Mudra. And in this practice, we want to position our hands in such a way that they help us to close off our senses. Index finger can gently, very gently, hold the eyes in place so they're not wandering. Our middle fingers can touch the nostrils to close off the sense of smell. And don't press too hard, especially on the ends of the nostrils, just gently. And the other two fingers we will place around the lips, kind of symbolizing that we will be closing off speech. The thumbs will be pressing on the ear flaps, those little things that stick out. If you want to hold your ears, you press them in, and this will bring us into that place of deep silence. What I'm going to suggest we do, it's a slight alteration, is when we do the practice, we close off the senses. While we inhale and close off the senses, you can hold your breath for a short while, don't strain, and then exhale naturally. Keep your fingers in place, and we'll practice this 3 times together at your own pace, like the first time. When we finish the practice, and the practice is a deep listening practice of the sound and the silence. When we finish the practice, we'll just gently release our fingers, allow our senses to open again, and take in the space around us, what we hear, what we see. I'm going to again put myself on mute. We can each try this on our own if you like. I'll review it. Index fingers touching the eyes, middle fingers the nose, above the lower part, just to symbolize. Other 2 fingers around the lips, one on top, one below, and the thumbs will close off the ears. We will inhale, we'll close off the ears, and while we have our fingers in place, we'll inhale, hold a little if it's comfortable, and then if do it 3 times, and then slowly release. Here we go. Sometimes it's those simple practices that really help to move us into a quieter place. I hope you found them beneficial. Namaste.
Shanti.
Hey, Shanti, namaste, namaste, chi. Right now, we're in the middle of a challenging aspect, astrological aspect, called the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which is very strong right now and is going to be dancing around, going in and out of that, towards that conjunction all the way through February of 2026. So it's sort of important to pay a little bit of attention to it. This aspect has a relationship to both our spiritual life, which can be symbolized by Neptune, and our earth life, which relates to the planet Saturn. So one of the challenges that we find coming towards us with this aspect is called facing reality. That's my key words for the challenge. But the positive way to look at it are the key words spiritual discipline. And I think some of the Swamis have already talked about this type of thing as we were talking today. And I wanted to talk about that our Kriya lineage are wonderful examples of and wonderful inspirations to demonstrate the energies of Saturn and of Neptune and working together in the best possible outcome for that aspect called spiritual discipline. And our Kriya lineage goes back in modern times to Babaji. But just as Swami Ishananda was talking about, our spiritual lineage goes all the way back to the saints and sages like Patanjali and other wise ones of all time and places. So that's one of the things that I've been reflecting on and thinking about as I've been thinking about this particular aspect and the relationship to our lineage. But I was also thinking about that one time Kriyananda said that before Babaji was called Kriya Babaji, he was called Krishna Babaji. And so I was wandering around in my reflection, and I was thinking about Lord Krishna. In the Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, it illustrated that Lord Krishna had a day job. Yes, he was Lord Krishna. He was an avatar of Vishnu, but he was also a chariot driver for Arjuna on the battlefield. That's a heck of a day job, right? It's tough work right there and a lot of responsibility. Plus, in addition to being a chariot driver, he had to switch hats right before the battle kicked off when Arjuna said, "I will not fight." And Lord Krishna had to switch to his teacher job and spend 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita talking about the spiritual nature, Neptune, the spiritual nature of our reality, Saturn. So that got me thinking about our wonderful Kriya lineage and how all of them chose to balance out in their life the Saturn, their earth life, and the Neptune, our spiritual life. Because remember, Kriyananda said, your everyday life is your spiritual life. Your everyday life and your spiritual life are one and the same. And he said it another way this is another quote, balancing your earth life is what spirituality is all about. So we have that as sort of part of our DNA of our Kriya Yoga. And this was, if you read about the lineage in any way, you have to recognize that. And when I had this very interesting experience of one time I was giving the noon meditation or giving a lecture or something at the temple. And I was referring to something about my husband and my family and all this. And when I came off the
the platform where I was speaking and came out and started talking to people in the room, one person came up to me and she said, "Oh, I didn't know you were married and you had a family." And I think that her essence was that I was just this being that gave a lecture. And then when everybody left, I was just still sitting there like this until the next time they came and heard a lecture. And that Kriyananda was like that, and which couldn't be anywhere farther from the truth, right? I know that many of us who gave talks or give talks today, we give the talk and then we go and sweep the floor, wash the dishes, take care of our families, go to work, all this other thing. And so you have to laugh about that. I did. It was in insight. Like we all talk about, oh, wow, that's an insight, because it's so often that we come to the spiritual path and we feel that if we're not a monk in a monastery, if we're not sitting in meditation all day, then we're not doing the right thing. But the right thing is living in our everyday life and having our everyday life be the spiritual life. So you have to remember that even Babaji has disciples that he travels around with and takes care of, and he teaches, and he has things that, even though he's, according to Kriya Yoga, like an astralized being who chose, okay, so think about that. Neptune, this astral plane being who chooses to be here on earth, just like, the bodhisattvas who make a vow to be on earth and help people until everyone is enlightened. So he taught Kriya Yoga to Lahiri Mahashaya, and Lahiri Mahashaya's plea to Babaji was, please, I don't want to teach this just to monastics. I want to teach this to householders. It's very important. And Babaji granted him that. And Lahiri had his day job. He was working at the rail lines. He had family responsibilities, and he had his own disciples. And Sri Yukteswar was a householder until his wife died, and then he took the Swami vows. But he also taught his disciples. He wrote a book. He founded centers. He established an organization. Everything. People were not. Our lineage was not just sitting in meditation all day. We all know how committed Paramahansa Yogananda was to his organization and the disciples in America, even though all he really wanted to do was sit in a cave and meditate. So he had to find that balance between having a spiritual practice and dealing with all the complex issues of everyday life. Sri Shelley Ji was a householder. Kriyananda was a householder. Our beloved guru wasn't just a person who meditated and gave talks. He was a married householder, and other times he took care of his mother in her later years. He wrote books, he designed courses, he taught many hours a week, plus his day job of being an astrologer. Many of us remember him seeing clients all day long and then teaching classes for us well into the evening. So the point is that there can, in our spiritual discipline, be that balance, and find that balance, even if we have to find it over and over again as we fall in balance and out of balance. So I want you all to think about Lord Krishna and his day job as a chariot driver and a teacher, as well as being an avatar. So we're all in the same earth life that we need to bring into balance. So may you be blessed and blessed and blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Namaste. Entrance to the path. One small step into the doorway. Stop. Slide over to the right. 3 small steps. Lean up against the wall. Slowly, quietly slide down. Sit on the floor. Very carefully. Quietly, so no one notices. Sit. Stay a while. Straight ahead, props. From the ceiling, a royal blue silk hanging, full moon in the center, a dais, a chair, candles, a light, a short pulpit, a dancing brass figure, a flower or two, if you wish. A teacher enters from stage right. Long beard, white, mixed with brown. Long hair. Short, round body. Nice smile. Warm greeting. Seems familiar. Friendly. Body perked up, paying attention. Heart feels warm. So far, okay. Just be happy. Easy for you to say. Just be happy. You don't have. Just be happy. You don't have. You don't have. As you sit there on that dais in that nice comfortable chair while I'm here on the floor in front of that royal blue hanging. Just be happy. What kind of teaching is this? Nobody has ever told me, just be happy. They've said, don't be so happy. You'll be sorry. The shoe's going to drop. You will be disappointed. Just be happy. What kind of teaching is this? Then, meditate, meditate, meditate. Let no thing come between you and your meditation. The laws of karma. The whole philosophy of Kriya Yoga centers on the concept of karma and mankind's ability to soften that karma. You are the creator, thus you can free yourself. Aham Brahmasmi, you're the creator of your life. Not mama, not papa, not God, not guru. Papa didn't do it to you, mama didn't do it to you, guru didn't do it to you, and God didn't do it to you. Oh. This is pretty hard stuff to swallow, hard to understand. The laws of karma, the law of cause and effect. So he says, never punishment, cause and effect. Still, hard to swallow, hard to understand. The observer technique. This helps. The patterns begin to reveal themselves. Keep meditating. A formula, mathematical formula. I times D equals F. Intensity times duration equals force. I can think about that. Then, the science of timing, the Horus Shastras, astrology. Don't talk to your boss when the Mars is conjunct your Mercury. A way to organize your life experiences. A way to organize your life into categories, not 500, but 12. Only 12. You can put anything in 12. Now that makes sense It makes things less confusing. Why didn't anybody ever tell me about this? What begins on the new moon comes to fruition on the full moon. Another formula. Watch the symbols. Link to astrology. Natal astrology, transit astrology, progressions, past life astrology, esoteric astrology, next incarnation, next 7 lifetimes. Study, study, study. Dreams, the study of dreams. Write them down. Another method. Lucid dreaming, practice. Death, rebirth. Death, rebirth. Continuity of consciousness. Remain consciousness through the birth, death, rebirth cycle. Methods. Practice. Prepare. In the beginning is the ending. In the ending is the beginning. Reincarnation. Really? The memories. Reincarnation. Aha. That's why you look so familiar. That's why everything is so easy with you. We've done this before. We've been here before. Aha. The ghosts of the past, they wish to live again. Oh no. The ghosts of the past, they are living again. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Free yourself from the karmas and be free. Why bother? Reincarnation. That which you love will return to you. That which you abhor will return to you. Softening karma. Neti, neti, neti. Mountain Meadow Waterfall. Om practices. Prema Yogi, Prema Yogi, Prema Yogi. Life is good. And from goodness, only goodness will come. This I don't get. I mean, look at the world, really. What is he talking about? Only goodness will come from this? But then he says, in the long, long, long run, Swamiji, all will be well. Methods, methods, methods. Practice, practice, practice. Kriya Yoga. Mantra. Om Gum, Om Aim, Om Bhurbhuvasvaha, Om Triambakam Yajamahe, Om Namo Bhagavate. Jap, jap, jap. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Breathe your Kriya. Breathe your Kriya. Breathe your Kriya. Hamsa, Ai, doesn't matter. Choose one and breathe your Kriya. Let no thing come between you and breathing your Kriya. I've heard that before. I thought it was, let no thing come between you and your meditation. Now it's, let no thing come between you and breathing your Kriya. Let no thing come between you and meditation as you breathe your Kriya. The subtle anatomy and the chakric system, the physical body, the astral body, the causal body. Who knew we had 3 bodies? Enough already. No wonder we have problems living here. More techniques to balance karma. By this time, it was, Guruji, you sure are giving us a lot of techniques. Keeps your mind busy, doesn't it? The Ishtadevata, your chosen form of the divine, not somebody else's, not what God said to you, not what Guru said to you, not what Mama, Papa. Not the family chosen form, your chosen form of the divine. Become intimate with the divine. Soften your karma. Karma yoga. Serve life. Become a part of the solution of life. Now you've heard this before today. All paths lead to enlightenment. All paths lead to the top of the mountain. Just different experiences, different timing mechanisms. That's all. Through a myriad, for me, of life conditions, corporate work, volunteer work, caring for family, good health, poor health, transitions, burials, travel, birth of dreams, letting go of dreams. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Breathe your Kriya. Practice. Study. Retreats. Intensity times duration equals force. Aha. Now I know all those hours sitting at the feet, listening, studying, learning, training, initiation, more training, seminary, advanced seminary, guru training. Study, study, study. Rituals. Baptism, marriage, house blessing, forgiveness, separation, divorce, death, rebirth for human, death, rebirth for animals, initiation, ordination, prayer, ritual, 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 etc., etc., etc. Practice. Repeat, repeat, repeat. In the blink of an eye, a group of disciples gathered round. Not one, not two, but too many to count. Disciples and their disciples gathered around. Emotions. Come, sit in the chair, teach, share the teaching, carry the teachings. Not just one of you, not just one of you, not just one of you, but all of you, all of you. Too many to count. Share what you have learned with all who enter your aura. Kriya Yoga is a living lineage. Love the teaching. It will never let you down. Love the teaching, not the teacher. At some time, the teacher as a human may let you down. The teaching will never let you down. I didn't always listen to the guru. I heard him, didn't always listen. Okagesamade, Kriyananda. Because of you, I'm well. Because of you, the woof and weave of Kriya Yoga has created the tapestry of my life. In this moment, just be happy. Kriya Yoga. Okagesamade, Guruji. May the blessings that you have shared with us continue into infinity. May they be returned to you without end. Kriya Yoga is an ancient, living spiritual tradition, alive around the earth, existing outside of any organization. Today we have heard from many, only 9, but not all. You hear me? Only a small, measly number, really, of those who carry the flame of Kriya in the lineage of Goswami Kriyananda and of his disciples. His tree, the Kriya tree, is known as Kriya Jyoti, the flame of Kriya, which is attuned to esoteric wisdom. But each teacher today is a wisdom keeper, a soul who understands the esoteric techniques or keys that are used to attain cosmic consciousness. Each soul has a different emphasis. Never forget there are living branches, many, many, many living branches of the divine tree of Kriya. Each and every branch is suitable for some souls. You will find a branch that is suitable for you. One branch may be attuned to love, one to philosophy, one to laughter, one to karma yoga, one to bhakti yoga. Find a living branch that is suitable to your soul. Find a branch that speaks to you. Watch the teachers. Listen carefully. Find someone that will share the transmission with you. For Kriya Yoga is not about certifications. It's not about how many hours you have of this or how many hours you have of that. But it is of the essence, the transmission of the teaching, which goes from one soul to another soul, from that soul to another, to another, to another, to another. Find a branch that speaks to your soul. Find a teacher that speaks to your soul. Study, practice, repeat, repeat, repeat. Seek to understand the teachings, my beloved. Seek to perfect the teachings for yourself as a way of life. By every means available to you, by every means that you can see possible. Seek to be blessed so that you might become a greater blessing unto others. Become a wisdom keeper and share the teachings with all who enter your aura. You don't have to be a little Kriyananda-ette. You don't have to be like any of the teachers today. You, in and of yourself, are enough. Share everything that you learn that has been of value to you and become an ever greater blessing unto all of life. Okagesamade. Thank you. Include this.
I'd like to conclude with mantra, a blessing mantra. I think it was Ken Lee who first introduced this mantra to us, the Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And Janice wrote this particular setting for it, which also includes the word Shanti. So this mantra is asking a blessing for sweetness, for happiness, for peace to all those on all planes of existence, on all lokas. So each line repeats so you can sing along too. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sukino Bhavantu Shanti 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 Bhavantu Shanti 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 Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti 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 Bhavantu Shanti 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 Bhavantu. Shanti 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 And thank you to all for sharing so personally, so beautifully, so intimately. Thank you. My gratitude. Deep gratitude.